Hello fellow duelists, this is Shadow of the Moon, and today I'm going to be showing you an updated deck profile of my Evolsaur deck for February 2022. Now, this deck hasn't been updated in quite some time. I think it's been about a year since I last updated this deck, so definitely long overdue. And this deck is insane because of the ability to use Megatralia, which Evoltile Megatralia, to go into your rank 4 plays. Just by having him on the field, tributing him, and discarding a dinosaur type monster, you can special summon an Evolsaur monster from your deck. So that helps you go into your rank 4 dinosaur plays, your Evolsaur plays, and then eventually going into your Sky Thunder. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive straight on into it. So this deck has been completely modified. This is the exact how I intended it to be, because I never really liked the strategy of like old school dinosaur types where it was just kind of like stompy beatdown, and Jirax, let's face it, had no synergy or strategy whatsoever. The effects were kind of all over the place. So this was definitely a treat to be able to finally update this and show you. Alright, so first we're going to have 3 copies of Evoltile Megatralia. This is the only Evoltile in the deck and the biggest heavy hitter in the deck, because by having him on the field, if you discard a dinosaur type monster, you can special summon an Evolsaur monster from your deck. Also, what makes it important is that if you have him in the graveyard and you have an Exceed monster on the field, an Evolsaur Exceed monster with no materials, you can banish this card to be able to add 2 materials back to the Exceed monster, which makes it to where you have more fuel for your negates. And the main deck of this strategy is, this is more of a strategic deck because you're going to be constantly negating your opponent's effects. Either it's a monster, or spell, or trap effect, or whatever, or summon. So, I mean, that's what makes it insane. Alright, and then we've got 3 copies of Evolsaur Volcano. Probably one of the most useful Evolsaur monsters in this deck, because if you have an Evolsaur monster, if this card is special summoned using an Evoltile effect, you can special summon the Evolsaur monster from the graveyard. So, that's the idea, is to be able to get Evoltile, tribute it, discard a monster to summon this from the deck, and then this will allow the monster to be brought back. So it's very, this is what really helps the deck go, and this will help you go into your Exceed plays. Alright, and then you've got 3 copies of Evolsaur Diplo. Diplo is basically going to be a MST, because when it is special summoned by the effective Evoltile monster, you can target a spell and trap card your opponent controls and destroy it. So it really is beneficial because it can kind of help destroy your opponent's back row to be able to just start swinging in with your Evolsaur monsters, or your other Exceeds, or your extra deck. Okay, so the only reason I do run Evolsaur Cerato right now anymore is because of the name, because it is a level 4 Evolsaur monster, but mainly when this card is special summoned by the effect of an Evoltile monster, it gains 200 attack, and if this card was special summoned by the effect of an Evoltile monster, each time this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can add an Evoltile monster from your deck to your hand. Unfortunately, since the only Evoltile monster that we have in this deck is going to be Megatralia, he's mainly in here just because he's an Evolsaur monster, so that's why I only run 2 of them, but he still is very useful in my opinion. Alright, so that's going to be it for the Evoltile Evolsaur monsters. Let's move on to the extra tech cards. So first we have Dogmatica, Flordelis United. During your main phase, if a monster is special summoned from the extra deck is in the field, quick effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then, if you control another Dogmatica monster, you can negate the effects of a face-up monster on the field. Until the end of the turn, when your Dogmatica monster declares an attack, you can make all Dogmatica monsters you control currently gain 500 attack. You can only activate the effect of him once per turn. So, mainly the idea is you're going to be using the next card to bring him out on the field and being able to special summon this card from your hand using the monster's effect, and then basically that's it, being able to get him on the field, because he is a 2500 beat stick, he's a 25-25, and he's really good and has good synergy with this deck in my opinion. And then next we're going to have which is going to help to bring him out, Dogmatica Excelsia, the Virtuous. Cannot be destroyed by battle with a monster special summoned from your extra deck. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. So if a monster is special summoned from the extra deck to the field, you can special summon this card from your hand. So the main idea is to be able to have it in your hand. You special summon it when a monster is special summoned from the extra deck. And then if this card is normal special summoned, you can activate the effect of Dogmatica card from your deck to your hand, except Dogmatica Excelsia. So the idea is you're going to be using her, you're going to be using bringing this to your hand, and then special summon him to the field, or using Dogmatica Punishment. Because I do use a little bit of a Dogmatica package in this deck to kind of speed the deck up and make it a little bit better. But yeah, she is just as good as the other one. That's why I run it in the deck, because it really does help with your plays. And then for the negates, this is pretty much optional. You can run Ash, you can run DD Crow, you can run Cyframe or whatever you want. I'm running Effect Failure just because it's one of the cheaper hand traps for you to be able to pick up, and it does negate monster effects, but it's a quick effect until the end of the turn. Alright, so that's going to be it for the monsters, guys. Not a whole lot of monsters, but the reason why is because this deck has so much search power in it that is insane. You do not have to worry about searching for this deck at all. It's going to make sure that you get exactly what you need in your hand. So, first we're going to start off with Evil Diversity. Add Evil Tile, Evolsaur monster from your deck to your hand, and you can only activate Evil Diversity once per turn. But this is going to help you get your Mega Terralia from your deck to your hand to be able to go into your rank 4 plays. Okay, and then we've got 3 copies of Fossil Dig. Fossil Dig is going to help you get into your other Evolsaur monsters because you can add a level 6 or lower dinosaur trap monster from your deck to your hand. Then 3 copies of Puri Ray's Map. Puri Ray's Map actually is one of the newer cards definitely in this deck, and it came out in the Brothers of Legend, so it really gave this deck an extra boost. At the start of your main phase, you can add a monster with 0 attack from your deck to your hand, but half your life points. After adding it to your hand until the end phase of the turn, this card was activated. You cannot activate the added monster's effect or the effects of it with a name until you normal summon that monster. So the idea is this is going to act as an Evil Diversity in a way. This will help you get Evil Terralia by paying half your life, and then in return, you can normal summon it, and then you'll be able to activate its effect to go into your rank 4 plays. So this is another good way to search out for Evil Tile Mega Terralia. That's why I love this deck in searches. That's why there's not a whole lot of monsters in here, because you're mainly what you have in here is ways to be able to search for Mega Terralia. Alright, and just because the ban list just came out today, I just had watched it and I was kind of confused. I'm actually going to be posting a video on that soon, but you do not have to do this. I just wanted to go for overkill. 3 Riot Gekis. This is your cheaper option to Lightning Storm because this can help you destroy all monsters on your opponent's side of the field. And you do not have to have no cards on the field or no monsters on the field to activate the effect, unlike Lightning Storm. I think this is insane because being able to pop all monsters on your opponent's side of the field and just completely board wipe them. Once again, you do not have to run these 3. You can replace them with whatever you'd like. This is just for my personal preference. And then for the other cards, we've got 1-for-1 to be able to special summon your Evil Mega Terralia from the deck. You've got Upstart Goblin because 39 is better than 40, and being able to draw that extra card does help. And then that's it for the magic, the spells, guys. Let's move on to the traps. Alright, so first we've got 3 copies of Evil Singularity. This card is very, very interesting and good in this deck because if you target an Evil Tile monster, you can target 1 Evil Tile and 1 Evolsaur monster in your graveyard, special summon an Evolsaur XYZ monster from your extra deck, and if you do, those monsters are treated as material. Mainly, this is the reason it's in here, is to be able to bring out Evolsaur Solda because it is a rank 6, so you're going to be using him to bring out Solda, because Solda basically is a walking negate as well, and he has 2600 attack, so it kind of breaks away from the rank 4, but that's why I have him in here, because it is still an amazing card, and this is going to help you get into it. And then, you want to make sure that your opponent does not have anything on the board. You've got 3 copies of Torrential Tribute. This is going to help you blow up and destroy everything, all monster on the field when they summon a monster. And then, you're going to have 3 Trap Tricks. Trap Tricks is very interesting, and it's good in this deck, because you're going to be banishing a Evil Singularity to set an Evil Singularity, and then you'll be able to activate it that same turn. That's the reason why this is in this deck. It's to be able to thin out your deck and to be able to add the traps that you need, whether it be that or Torrential Tribute, or to be able to add what you need to be able to go into your play. So that's the most important thing in this deck. That's why it's in here, to be able to get that Evil Singularity so that you can activate it and then go into Solda. Alright, and then the last trap that you're going to be adding, this is what is going to be the other trigger with the Virtuous, Dogmatic of Punishment. Target a face-up monster your opponent controls to send 1 monster with an equal attack or higher attack from your extra deck to the graveyard, and if you do, destroy that monster until the end phase of the next turn. After this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck. So the idea, though, is you're going to want to dump the certain monsters that are going to show you into the extra deck to be able to add them to your graveyard. So then when they activate the graveyard, they can activate their effects from there. Alright, so that's going to be it for the main deck. Let's move on to the extra deck. So first, obviously, we're going to have 1 copy of Sky Thunder in here. This is very easy to get out. This is a going second card because you're going to be negating whatever your opponent has, with an effect, and then you can go into him after the monster has declared an attack. Also, this is actually a very nice thing to know that if you activate Mega Terralia's effect from the graveyard, banish it, and then attach 2 more materials to it, and then him, you'll be able to gain the, you'll be able to actually go into this without having to worry about it, because you'll have the materials for it in case the Exceed monster doesn't have any more of the materials for it. So this guy basically wins games because it's 3,000 attack defense and basically blows up every other card on the field. So, I mean, and it's got a quick effect, so it makes it to where your opponent doesn't really want to be able to attack it, knowing that that happens. And then you have 2 copies of Evolsaur Solda. Evolsaur Solda, this is how you go into it from Evil Singularity. If this card cannot be destroyed by card effects while it has X material, when your opponent special summons a monster, you can attach a material to destroy that target. So this is probably one of the least useful of the Evolsaur monsters, but it still has a great effect because it negates special summons. Then we got 2 copies of Evolsaur Lagia. Lagia is essentially a walking Solemn Judgment. During either player's turn, when a monster would be normal special summoned or a spell or trap is activated, you can attach 2 materials to negate it and destroy it. So without having to pay half your life, this is basically a walking Solemn Judgment, which is crazy. And then the one monster you're probably going to be getting out more often than not is going to be Evolsaur Dolka, because Dolka only requires you to attach the 1 material for it to activate its effect. Dolka is, if you have another monster effect is activated, you can detach a material to negate it, and if you do, destroy it. So anytime they activate an effect, you can attach a material to be able to destroy that monster. Alright, so this is going to be the cards. I'm going to show them in order just to be able to show you. These are going to be the main cards that you're going to be wanting in the graveyard, and there's a reason for that. That's why I activate the Dogmatica package in here. Essentially, Titan Lord, it gains attack equal to the combined original levels of the monster sent used through its fusion summon, but you're not going to be using that. You're going to be using its graveyard effect. If this card is in the graveyard because it was sent there this turn, you can add to your hand or special summon 1 Fallen Alberus or Dogmatic monster from your deck. You can only activate this effect of Ash Dragon once per turn. This is going to help you go into your big guy for the 2500 to be able to help you, or go into Virtuous. So that's why he's in here. And then Elder Entity, you could put 2 of these instead of the Ash Dragon if you wanted to. This is just personal preference. But Entity, if it's in your graveyard, once per turn, you can special summon a level 4 monster from your hand, and if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 card on the field and destroy it. So it's a good way to be able to pop cards on the field. And then Wing Pegasus Ignister. Well, this card is on the field or in the graveyard. You can banish this card and then target a card your opponent controls, shuffle it into the deck. So it basically acts as a Castel, because it can shuffle cards back into the deck when it gets sent to the graveyard, when it's activated its effect. That's the reason why these 3 are in here, because of the ability to be able to get sent to the graveyard using the Dogmatic effects, and then being able to pop their effects off. Okay, and then we're going to be showing you the Abyss Dweller, because this is going to shut down your opponent's graveyard. Time Thief Redoer, this is going to help you add those cards from your opponent's top of your deck to him, and then it has different effects based off the effects that you would attach with whatever you are attaching with it. You've got Tornado Dragon to be able to pop spell and traps, and then lastly you've got Nightmare Unicorn and Phoenix to be able to spin stuff and being able to pop cards. So that's going to be it for this deck profile. I hope you enjoyed it. This deck, I'm just really happy to actually be able to have, because it is a lot of fun to be able to go into all these crazy plays, crazy plays, and, you know, being able to actually play with Evolsaurs, it just feels really good, because before, Evolsaurs were really outdated, and this deck isn't perfect. This is also more of a budget-friendly deck of it. This deck you're not going to see this in a tournament and everything, but it's still an amazing deck and has a lot of good potential to it because of the ability to be able to negate stuff constantly, because you're constantly negating stuff and you're constantly adding your resources back. And I just thought the idea of having 3 Raigekis in here was just funny and ridiculous, because you can actually have 3 in here. It's a cheaper option to Lightning Storm, since Lightning Storm is still somewhat expensive. Just Mega Trelia has made this deck so much better. Alright, so that's going to be it for this video, and with that, see you guys next time.